Today is Friday, July the 22nd. This is Speak On It. My name is Malik. We are here, I can even say now, almost as usual on a Friday, in order to provide information and awareness through presentations that we hope are relevant. Today, the focus will be more centered around these mass shootings in Chicago, but it's happening all over the country, which allows the leadership of these cities to really shift the responsibility to something other than them. But we'll get to that. But as customary, usually, we like to say something about the West Side Heroin Opioid Task Force before we get off into the presentation, because it's something that I and Mr. Brad Cummins with the Voice newspapers work on weekly as it relates to these presentations, due to the fact that State Rep. LaShawn Ford, a few years ago, convened partners, agencies, people in his district, 8th district, over the fact that so many people was ODing over dope, particularly opioids, heroin. So now you got hundreds of agencies, partners, and people participating. So every week we like to just say that. And even if we don't say no more than that, you should be able to get it. If you have a issue with opioids, heroin, there's a West Side Heroin Opioid Task Force. All you got to do is Google it, or whatever y'all do now to get to stuff. And there are people, outreach people, that can move out, damn near pop up, almost quickly. All you got to do is talk to Mr. Lou Sides and Mr. Lee Rush, and they'll get folks out there that will be able to train you and refer you, and even probably give you a couple of emergency packets in case someone in your milieu, your family, your workplace, or your community has a substance abuse disorder. Now, you see this piece on your screen, I hope. Look like you're still looking at me. Cocaine disguised as cake leads to arrest of 2 alleged smugglers on Main Interstate. Now, I don't know if there's a video or not, but the cake was so pretty, I just had to show it to you. Now, see, that's what we mean when we say awareness. Look at that cake. You know, people have become very, 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 very creative. Last week, we talked about coal, black coal, charcoal, barbecue. We talked about peanut shells being used to move this dope around. So this is a piece of awareness that we hope will bring your state of alertness, where you will pay attention, because your kid could be at the house and they got that cake and they came out of that car off of the interstate. You understand? And next thing you know, the kids done got off into the cake. Now the kids caught up and you don't know. Being aware is what this is about. Bringing awareness. That's what we was instructed to do. Use your platform to bring awareness about the West Side Heroin Opioid Task Force in my district and all over Chicago and the state of Illinois and wherever people have a challenge. So we try to do that. Now the next one there, brother. Amari, the one they talking about cocaine, they got the disguise as cake. There's a piece. These devils are crazy. Now they want to try to discredit the whole conversation about fentanyl being used to baptize marijuana. Now, I saw a few things on the internet this week where they got somebody on a mission now trying to say, well, no, not really. It ain't this and that. Stop lying. They mix all dope with whatever they can find to make it more deadly. And for you to come here and try to clean up cannabis, as you call it, and make like the cannabis is not a danger of being contaminated with fentanyl is a lie. Just like you say it's okay for people to smoke cannabis, and maybe it is. But you need to look at them. You need to listen to them when they tell you that, hell, their memory ain't worth a damn. They'll tell you that. Young people in their 30s and 40s, they've been smoking dope for the last 20 years, will tell you quickly, man, my mind gone. And you know what they attribute that to? Weed. Now, everybody smoke now. More people seem to be smoking weed than smoking cigarettes. You can't smoke cigarettes in public, but you can smoke weed all out your car, all over the place. And now you're going to say, oh, don't worry about weed. They ain't going to use fentanyl on there. And if they do, it ain't. You's a lie. You better pay attention. Don't believe these liars. Because in a minute, all of this that they doing, it's going to backfire. So you need to try to stay as awake as you can. And don't fall for the internet okie doke. Now here's another one. Initiative, opioid deal will provide $26 billion and a new way to regulate painkillers. See? $26 billion. Big business. They told you that when they started with those pain blockers, and that's what opioids are, that, you know, it wouldn't be such of a problem, woo-woo. And that the benefit would outweigh the risk. Same damn thing they telling you now about one of them vaccinations. That the benefit and the people that's going to die are minor as relates to the benefits. The benefits outweigh the risk. That's the story all the time, if you're not aware. So this is just a little picture awareness we wanted to show you today. We wanted to just keep it going so you understand. And yeah, I'm a pragmatist. So that LaShawn Ford will understand that when he asked us to do this, we heard him. And so that the partners in those areas working with the opioid, heroin, and other substance addictions can understand that, yeah, there's some voices out here. The Austin, Garfield, Voice newspapers, and speak on it. So much for that. Call Lou Science, Lee Rush. You need to call them because they can help you. Westside Heroin Opioid Task Force. Now what we want to go into, this girl is from last week, but we can use her, we can start with her, and then we're going to get to this piece about the 6 people shot last Saturday in the mass shooting. All right, Brother Amar.
Stop calling your brothers and your cousins for every little argument. Because you women sit on social media, you sit around, oh, everybody killing everybody, but you never tell the truth that it's been 1,000 shootings and homicides trickle back down to you running your fucking mouth or you calling somebody and exaggerating because you feel disrespected. Stop calling people. You get in an argument with somebody on the block, that's it, leave it there. You call your brother, now these niggas going through it the whole summer. And then somebody's child die about it. That's your fault. That's your
I don't know what happened. For me, the sound is not coming through. And that piece, it was a piece we was going to use last week, but we wanted to leave last week on a real high beat. This week, we wanted to start you off on a real beat. What the woman's saying is absolutely true. A lot of these shootings are taking place because of you females sending folks off. And you do it like it means nothing. And we talked about it last week. Well, this gal, she gone to the other side now. 17-year-old, and she was considered an assassin. And she had over 17 bodies that they reported. But you know, anytime they report something, it ain't all that there is. And they were saying that in order for her to mate with a dude needed to have 3 or 4 bodies before he would be qualified to get it on with her. And I was saying on the radio program the other night, one brother, I don't know, he didn't mean no harm, I'm sure. He was saying that it's the environment, woo, woo, woo. But I just asked the question, I'm gonna ask the question to you, and I want you to think about it.
Man,
if the female
so much meat in there, meat lovers
has
pizza.
killed 17 people,
over a pound of meat,
and any man she have sex with or get pregnant by is required to have killed 3 or 4 people, what do you think is going to be produced? Another killer. Dude said, oh no, that ain't true. Come on, nigga. This is 2021. It's about DNA. You used to go blame white folk and try to make white folks tell on a lie. That ain't no lie. That's like when you want some pure blood pit bulls. You don't take no pit bull and no poodle. You take 2 pit bulls. And you take the type of pit bulls you want. Like these little bully pits they got now. $5,000 and $6,000. Those are animals that have been redesigned. So humans have been redesigned. So what the woman was saying is true. You out here snapping and sending people off, but you sending off killers. But dude wanted the challenge, but we didn't go hard because he had some good points. And his good point is the environment, and if the kid is put in another environment, he might not never be a killer. Yeah, but he might not. But it's in it. You can take him out of the environment if you want. But if his mom is a killer, his dad is a killer, chances are he's going to be a killer. And if that was the intent of the mother and the father to reproduce a killer, you need to know that that's what's going to be happening. So you just need to know this here. So when we use that piece there, we wanted you to understand a lot of what's happening can be avoided. And we need folks to start paying more attention. You understand? But all right, we're going to move right along, and then I'm going to say more about that when we talk about these 6 people the other night behind my house that got shot up. I want to explain to y'all what I've been telling y'all all the time.
Austin shooting, but just a few hours ago we had another shooting. An 8-year-old boy was rushed to the hospital after being shot in the left leg. Now this happened around 1 o'clock this morning as he rode in a vehicle with a 28-year-old man who was also shot in the back when someone inside a dark-colored SUV opened fire on them. This shooting is really just one of some of the weekend violence that occurred that has now so far left at least 47 people wounded and 5 people dead. Now, this weekend violence also happened in the Austin neighborhood, as you mentioned. There was also a mass shooting that left 6 people wounded. Most of the victims are female, the youngest just 12. It happened late Saturday night in Chicago's Austin neighborhood. Investigators say the victims were attending a party in the 5000 block of West Ohio. They were standing on the street with a group of people when a dark-colored SUV pulled up, and those inside opened fire. Now, a 12-year-old girl was shot in the hand. 13 and 14-year-old girls were struck in the lower back, while a 15-year-old girl suffered a graze wound to the head and a gunshot wound to her lower back. Now, all the girls were transported to area hospitals and are now in fair condition. Another victim, a 19-year-old woman, is recovering after being shot in the back. And we are also told that a 6th victim, the only male wounded in the attack, a 25-year-old, walked into an emergency room at an area hospital with a gunshot wound to the lower back. He was treated and released. At this hour, of course, police continuing to investigate and work all of these particular crimes, but so far, no one is in custody. Reporting live from the Chicago Police Department headquarters here at 35th and Michigan, Evelyn Holmes, ABC.
Now let me tell you something. I told y'all, and I tell y'all this all the time. Fireworks. Now I'm laying in the bed about 11 o'clock, Saturday night. Now this happened right there behind my house, right there on the corner. I'm the next block over. See? So the firecrackers went off. And you know, you hear it in your neighborhood all the time. But on this particular occasion, I knew it when I heard it. It didn't sound in sequence. It sounded in gunshot sequence. But I got up, then I sit on the end of the bed and I said, maybe not. And they popped them. But it was not just like you pop firecrackers. It was like it's a setup. So I said, okay. 10, 15 minutes later,
14-year-old boy.
It happened again. I said, damn, they getting ready to kill somebody around here. And sure enough, 5 or 10 minutes after that, these kids got shot. Now, it sounded like it was a little birthday type party for some kids. It didn't sound like the rowdy stuff when grown folks are out there. So, you know, you hear it, so you don't get too disturbed because you don't hear a whole lot of cursing. It ain't that loud, stanky music. It just sound like some kids that hadn't went into their crib that time of night having fun. But the overlay for the underplay, silly, don't work beat police, was that if you was listening, if you was paying attention, if you was doing your job, you would have knew that somebody was going to get killed. Why? Because they did a dry run twice before they used the gun. So somebody was not in the car. You understand? Somebody was out there sending signals to those that was going to drive by to shoot in that crowd of children. And no, I don't think they were trying to shoot no 12-year-old, 14-year-old, and other little girls in the back. Now, there was a 19-year-old. Then there was some dude, 25. Who do you think they were trying to shoot, huh? See, although I worked for CAPS and retired from CAPS, City of Chicago, yes, I did. It's difficult for me to understand how the police are allowed to get away with this foolishness. If they would pay attention, if they would work their beats, if they was listening to the firecrackers, or if the sorry behind city council and other political officials would actually enforce that fireworks ordinance and make it illegal and fine them like they fine me, you, and anybody else for going 6 miles over the speed limit. That ain't endangering nobody, but just another way for this female to rape the citizens. So why don't you rape those out there that's killing our kids by fining them every time you hear fireworks, because you know fireworks are a cover for people to get killed. Now you're going to say, not all the time. I don't want to hear about what not all the time. The other night, 5 basically females got shot right there on the corner where I've seen other people killed and bleed out. Where I've been the last one and the first one to walk up on the person while they lay there with blood spilling out of their body. And you creatures may like you don't know what to do and the gun is the problem. You's a damn lie. The problem is you. Not paying attention. Not doing your job. Anybody in that community knew what was happening in the sequence. Well, why didn't you call the police? For what? They ain't coming. Call the damn police and say they find firecrackers, they getting ready to kill somebody. They think you crazy. They'll lock you up. But we know it, we see it, we hear it every day. Now you got these little girls shot because some idiot drove through and just started shooting people in the back. And anybody could tell that those are children. You know what I'm saying? You could tell. Little girl ran to the corner of my block. Bleed. Used to be you go out and try to help them. Now you don't know what to do. If you go out and try to help them, you serve to get killed. If you go out and try to help them, you serve to be accused of something. You can always find a way to discourage people from getting involved, but then you cry talking about we need all boots on the ground. No, we need you damn police boots on the ground. But we need black police in the Negro colony and get these damn other colored people the hell up out of there. Why all of these white folk and Asians and Hispanics standing around doing nothing? How some police from these communities that know when the firecrackers pop, that they need to move out because they know what's coming next. All right, brother, move to this next one here.
Just learned from Chicago police that one of the victims, a 14-year-old boy who was shot in the head, has died after he was taken to Sturger Hospital. That 14-year-old was one of at least 2 teenagers shot tonight. And this comes less than a week from another mass shooting in Austin where 4 young girls were shot and injured. Now, the 2 shootings tonight happened in the city's Lawndale neighborhood. The first one near 13th and Christiana, just after 6 p.m., Chicago police say 5 people were shot. The victims' ages range from 14 to 24 years old. One of those victims, a 16-year-old, sustained a gunshot wound to the head, now in grave condition here at Mount Sinai. Police say the 3 other victims' conditions have stabilized, but we do not yet know the extent of their injuries. Then, 5 minutes later and 3 blocks away at Ridgeway and Douglas, Chicago police say 5 more people were shot. We are still waiting to get an update on those victims. In the meantime, investigators are working these 2 separate shooting scenes, working to see if they may be linked. Chicago police say there is a lot of work ahead of them, hoping tonight the community may be able to fill in the gaps of what happened.
This is becoming an effort where we're going to need an all-hands-on-deck approach. And that approach is going to involve our community. Our community getting involved and saying what's going on. Our community who has cell phone pictures, who has Facebook information. We're going to need your help.
So just to recap, in total, that is 10 people shot. At least 2 of them are teenagers. We just learned that the 14-year-old boy who was shot has just passed away. The other teenager who was shot, a 16-year-old, now in grave condition here at Mount Sinai. Now, these 2 shootings come as the city awaits help from the nation's capital. Chicago is expecting the arrival of a federal strike force to help cut down on gun violence like this.
No, they ain't trying to cut down on them damn gun violence. They just trying to chase guns. And I heard the officer, now he ain't no officer's commander. He right. We need the community involved. So why don't you hire some of the people from the community so they can be involved? Because them white boys I saw standing around there looking, they wasn't doing nothing but just standing there looking. You can have some black folks can do that. You see what I'm saying? You talking about what you need from the community. What the community need from you is that now that you finna have this application process, hire some black policemen. You want to say it's lowering the bar? You insulting pig! They ain't lowering no damn bar. Go out in the Negro community. There's a lot of black men and women that are veterans or other professionals that can qualify to be policemen in the area where their people are and where they live. But you think that if you hire black people, you lowering the bar because we are so toxic. No, you just want to keep all the money for yourself. So I feel you, policeman. I feel you. I feel you, Superintendent Brown. We feel y'all. We know what you all are saying. The community need to get involved. They do. Take some of that $33 million you spending on ShotSpotter, huh? And hire some black people. If you don't want to hire them, call them Chicago police. Hire them and call them something else. But let them be out there with the authority to deal with this. You understand? But don't think people going to put their lives on the line for free and white folks standing around looking at dead bodies with their hands on their hip. No, you need to hire some black people from those communities. Now, if you ain't got enough sense to see that city council and to tell that other one that, then you're useless. This thing can be stopped, but you need to hire people from the community. Police officers. Not these imports you done brought from some other city calling this garbage they doing gang violence prevention. And you saw that creature they hired and he went over there and killed the 73-year-old man. And then some creature, yeah, he worked for us, da-da-da. If I would have saw that nigga, I would have slapped that nigga upside his head. If you hired that and you willing to come out in public and say you hired something like that, I don't know who funding you because you's an idiot. If you didn't see that that boy is a danger to himself and others, you is a fool and should have been locked up yourself. Because you should have had enough sense to know that that boy was not stable enough to do nothing to help nobody because he couldn't help himself. These are the games you playing. $33 million and $1 million snitch fund. The hell? Stop playing with people. Now let's look at this one, another one. And we stand on this today because we're going to run it into your mind.
Boy left dead. This happened at about 6 o'clock last night. 5 people were shot at Douglas and Christiana Avenue. Demarion Benson suffered a gunshot wound to the head. Just a few minutes later, someone shot 3 teenagers and 2 men 3 blocks away. One of the teens is in critical condition. Police say the shootings do not appear to be related. The 3 mass shootings had Chicago's top cop taking questions from the media this morning as more than 24 people were shot across the city in that 8-hour time frame. Superintendent Brown addressing the shootings just a short time ago.
We need the community to step forward. Now, we are in a battle for the heart and soul of some of our communities. And now is the time to speak up.
Now, this comes as 2 other people were killed and 13 others wounded in shootings in the city on Tuesday.
Yeah, that was a hell of a thing, he said. You can tell he ain't from Chicago. He still got down south in it. He still got Dallas in it. Talking about the heart and soul of the community. He right. You ain't in no battle, though. You ain't. You just there. Battle means you fighting. Battle means you working. No, you ain't doing all that. Might be your intent. But you playing. You ain't doing all that. If you were, you do some things different. Starting with hiring some black police officers.
Okay, we're not going to ask for discounts.
Understand that? Don't tell me nothing about gender. 37% of the population, you hire 18% from the community. And now you're talking about something else? Were you going to hire more of them than us? How many people being killed in that community based on gender versus how many people being killed in the Negro community based on color and the lack of? And the programming by you with this garbage you call music. You did that. And now you act like you don't know what's up? Oh, some of us can tell you how to bring it down. But I'm telling you now what you need to do. Is hire some of them. And then if you got enough sense, get with some of us. Go on to the next one, brother.
Superintendent David Brown says officers are carrying the, quote, weight of the world on their shoulders. Officer Christian Furzan died by suicide this week. CPD reports 35 officers have been shot at. 9 of them have been hit this year. As Stacey Baca explains, the pressure and stress is also felt by families who have lost loved ones on the force.
When Chicago officer Michael Flisk was killed in the line of duty nearly 11 years ago, he left behind his wife, Nora, 3 sons and a daughter.
It's not something that you ever get over or you ever get past. But you must move forward.
Nora Flisk watched her youngest son, Brian, follow his father and become a police officer, but she says today's climate is different.
In today's environment, our police officers and our police family seems to be under attack from all sides.
Last summer, Brian Flisk, on duty a year, responded when protesters tried to topple the Columbus statue in Grant Park. Someone threw a brick at him, and he was transported to the same hospital where his father died.
This job is a calling for most officers. They have a desire to go out and serve, and they want to protect. And unfortunately, in the environment that we're in today, that service comes with a huge price.
The Flisk family experienced that price, yet Nora Flisk remains hopeful.
We're all human, and we need to come together.
Together through common ground, service, and respect.
We have lost respect for not only our police department and our police officers, but for each other.
Her own family has turned to service. Her children, now grown, have become a police officer, firefighter, Cook County prosecutor, and building engineer.
When we could live anywhere, we choose to stay and fight. And we want to stay. But it's getting harder and harder.
Harder, but Chicago is still home. Stacey Baca, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Now, that's a good story. And I feel for all families who've lost someone to suicide and to violence as it relates to the police being killed. But see, you need to have them white police working in them white communities. Then they wouldn't have all that stress. And let the black ones work in the black community where it ain't gonna be no stress to that degree. Yeah, some black ones killing themselves. Yes, they are. But if you put the white boys and the Hispanic boys and them Asians and all these other people you got on the force in their own communities, they wouldn't have to commit suicide. They wouldn't. And if you put the black ones in their communities, there would be less suicide. And there would be less homicide. Yes, I'm saying that. And yes, politicians, you can do something about that. You understand? And as long as the ancestors and the creator and CAN TV, which is y'all, allow me to be here, I'm going to speak on that. And today, we speaking on something that we know can change. But you got to change it. Superintendent? This little game, I couldn't find the right video I was looking for this civilian review situation. I ain't going to say nothing yet. But it's just, I got a lot of questions. Who picked who? Who gonna boo-boo? I saw where they said that. But it's gonna always end back up to her now. But I guess once she ain't there, whoever the mayor is, that's who will be making the final decisions. So I say, okay, boo-boo, somebody got to make the final decision. But the question is, who are these people that you gonna select from all of these different 66, 3 people from each district? 22 police districts, you got 3 people to piece that out. Then you're going to have this, that, and another. But looking the way things been going, you ain't going to listen to the alderman. You ain't going to listen to the block club president. You ain't listen to the CAPS worker. You ain't going to listen to nobody but the people you have determined you want to listen to. That ain't nothing. And then you're going to have an election. They're going to have an election board. Election don't mean a damn thing if it's going to be like the school board. And you ain't even got to that yet. But if you're going to have an election and all you got is puppets running, then all you're going to get is puppets. So don't play. Stop playing. But I know you're getting nervous now because the season is coming back. So you want to produce. But community, don't be stupid. Pay attention. You understand? Don't get faked out by the okie doke. Make these people do what you've been asking be done for the last 20 some odd years, more than that. Make it happen. And don't sit back and be intimidated by one person that want to discount anything anybody say unless it's her or her people. Man, give me another one.
Full of frightened about it.
Chicago's Lawndale neighborhood is reeling after 2 mass shootings last evening left 10 people shot and 1 dead.
And police say despite all the victims and the witnesses, they are getting very little cooperation.
Dane Placco went to Lawndale today to visit a neighborhood under siege.
We are in a battle for the heart and soul of some of our communities.
It's the day after in Lawndale. Nubs of crime scene tape and surgical gloves on the street and a heavy police presence. Reminders of last night's blast of violence.
It ain't safe out here. Why, you can't even be in your own backyard.
Yvonne Jones tends her community garden plot just across the street, where 5 people were shot last night, next door to an elementary school, the victims ranging in age from 14 to 22. And just minutes earlier, and a few blocks to the east, 5 more people were shot at the corner of Christiana and Douglas Boulevard. A 15-year-old boy was killed, and a 16-year-old boy is hanging on to life. But police say despite all of the victims and witnesses, nobody's talking.
That signals to us when you don't cooperate, when you're silent, that you prefer street justice.
And Lawndale residents say street justice is out of control, along with other social ills. We came across 2 men passed out on Douglas Boulevard, apparently from heroin, tiny drug bags littering the grass. Lawndale resident Vivian Smith calling 911.
It's 2 guys laying in the park. One is not moving. It's sad because our neighborhood, they always say black on black crime. I don't understand. Black on black killing each other. For what reason?
If this doesn't tell you just how bad it is here in Lawndale, there's blood spatters all over this sidewalk by one of the shooting scenes, but also on the sidewalk, chalk drawings from children, including a hopscotch. But you also find signs of hope. Pastor Floyd Smiley grilling chicken and ribs behind his church for those in need.
We fix the food, prepared, and carry out the trays, and one that want to come by, they're free to take it, free, no charge.
In Lawndale, Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
Yeah, you see? We want you to get a feel of what's happening. Yeah, they tell you about all of the killing and the shooting and the dope and all of that. But there's people still out there eating them ribs. Yeah, they are. People out there raising gardens. Yes, yeah, they are. And it could be more of that. But there's a reason
is the leader in
you got all this insanity. And that reason has a design behind it. So don't just sit here and think that Negroes are somehow or another just running out here and this is it. No, somebody got them running out here doing that. Know this here. Know this. Situation is not just that Negroes are wild and they do this. No, that ain't so. But chasing guns and bringing the strike force and a task force and $1 million snitch fund, that ain't the solution. It really ain't. There's another way to do it, and that is human capital. Human relationships. Real street type folk like us that know what to do in many of these cases. You got all them other people standing up there getting paid. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They hoping they don't get shot. You know what I'm saying? And I'm hoping they don't get shot either. But no, Superintendent, you don't come here with that bullshit. You got that from somebody else that's stupid, that came from out of town. Now, talking about street justice. Man, get the hell out of here. You don't know what you're talking about. Man, please. What's happening in our community? We don't call that street justice. That's insanity. But it's insanity because no one is actually penetrating. No one is actually bringing the necessary consequences. You have let them get away with it so long until now they think it's cool. So they sit in the house playing them damn games that you created and made available to them. So now they bring that garbage off the screen into the street. So what they are doing are living out games in the hood. That's what they're doing. A lot of this is gameplay. How do you think that these creatures can just send a message and thousands show up somewhere? That's because you done programmed them. And they know how to get on the frequency to send each other off. You did that, system. All you damn social media platforms, you did that. And you still doing it. So don't sit here and pretend you don't know. You know exactly what's going on. And if I could get away with playing this song, Snitch, I would. But I know if I say play the song, which is going to tell you exactly what you need to know, then that's going to give you, platform people, the opportunity to say can't none of the show be played. Move on, Amar. They got it.
Supporters of former President Donald Trump stormed the building as members of both the House and Senate met to count electoral ballots from the 2020 presidential election. Videos and photos from that day show rioters fighting with and assaulting police officers. 5 people died, including a U.S. Capitol Police officer who suffered 2 strokes. In the months since the attack, some Republicans have sought to downplay the severity of what happened that day. That includes Georgia Congressman Andrew Clyde, who compared the attack to a normal tourist visit. CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killian joins me now from Capitol Hill for more. Hi there, Nicole. Thank you for being here. So more than 500 people have been arrested in connection with that riot. What more can you tell us about these charges that some of them face?
Well, they really run the gamut, Caitlin. You know, at this point, federal investigators have arrested more than 500 people 6 months since the attack. And so those charges range from assault to, in some cases, obstructing a congressional proceeding or an official proceeding. You know, you also have charges of entering restricted space, you know, for those who breach the grounds of the Capitol. So they really do run the gamut, but you know, beyond these charges and arrests that have already been made, still you have investigators and prosecutors looking for even more suspects out there, hundreds of suspects, in fact, all stemming from January 6th.
And Nicole, what kind of changes are the U.S. Capitol Police looking to implement just to ensure that this doesn't happen again?
Well, the acting chief of Capitol Police, Yogananda Pittman, issued a letter in which she outlined some of the changes that U.S. Capitol Police have made over this past 6 months and also kind of the future of the agency and what they hope to achieve going forward. So a couple of the things that she outlined included increased training, specifically for their civil disturbance unit, which typically handles large crowds and large protests. She also talked about increased mental wellness services for officers. Of course, there's been a lot of questions about the toll that this attack has taken on many of these officers, including, as you mentioned, some who have taken their life since the riot. So that includes, for instance, new therapy dogs that will be serving the force. And then you also have more equipment that the Capitol Police has now procured, and also increased planning, response planning. These were all things that were lacking during the 6th that have been pointed out in subsequent congressional hearings in terms of some of the security and intelligence failures that occurred that day.
Still lasting consequences, even though we're 6 months removed from that attack. I want to ask you about this newly created commission, or newly created committee, I should say, that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced recently. She named 8 members to that committee, that special select committee, to investigate this assault. So the remaining 5 members would be chosen then by House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. Do you know if he's likely to actually appoint any Republicans to this panel?
You know, that's a big question here on Capitol Hill right now. Both chambers are out of session, but before they left last week, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy was asked when he intends to name or recommend some members. At the end of the day, he has to consult with the Speaker about this, so he doesn't necessarily get the final say, and the Speaker can still veto some of his choices. But he did tell me in response to one of my questions that he is taking this committee seriously, but he would not tip his hand as to when he might name anyone, recommend anyone, or who he might name. But obviously, he is in kind of a precarious position because, of course, you have some House Republicans who have, called what happened here on January 6th and called some of these rioters tourists, and some who, in the view of some lawmakers on Capitol Hill, have tried to whitewash the events. So that is a concern in terms of whether or not he would name somebody like that, or whether or not he would name somebody who did object to the Electoral College results back in January. So those seem to be non-starters in the view of Speaker Pelosi. Of course, we know that she has already selected at least one Republican, that being Congresswoman Liz Cheney. But again, given that a lot of House Republicans did not support this select committee, they did not vote for it, it really is hard to see who the minority leader might pick. But again, we'll just have to wait and see.
Something to watch for when they return from recess, for sure. And finally, Nicole, while I have you, I want to ask you about a bipartisan group of lawmakers that have thrown their support behind the infrastructure deal reached by Democrats and Republican senators and the president. What more can you tell us about this?
I wanted you to see that and hear that. And you heard what she said, consequence. See, that's the word. Consequences is how you stop what's experiencing in Chicago. You have to lock them up. I don't know why Biden has not regressed back to his 1994 and before way of thinking. You don't need to send no task force here to chase guns. You don't need to send no task force, no strike force. You don't need to send nothing here for that. You need to chase the people that you have not given the proper consequence to, that are out here doing it, that should already be locked up. And then those that might be thinking about doing it might not do it because they see there's a what? Consequence. Now this thing that happened on the 6th, January 6th.
And good morning. We are in Lincoln Park.
Now, had there been any Negroes
this gas station
in the forefront,
the intersection. This is Clark Street
what
at
is
North
this?
Avenue. It involved a party bus.
Look like this
7
machine
people were
just
shot,
ran
and
doing
one
what
person
it
is
wanted
in
to do.
critical condition. The party bus stopped on Clark Street right next to the BP gas station. That shooting was just before midnight. Witnesses say a dark gray Jeep Grand Cherokee and a black Jeep Grand Cherokee drove up and gunshots were fired. Police haven't said if the victims were on the bus or standing outside, but the bus was damaged. There was a lot of broken glass. 6 men, 1 woman were shot. One of the victims, a 27-year-old man, was shot in the chest and was dropped off at Northwestern Hospital. A 29-year-old took himself to Rush Hospital, ended up over at Stroger, and the rest were transported to Northwestern and Illinois Masonic by the fire department. Police have not said if this shooting was targeted or random, but a few of the victims are known to police. This was the 3rd mass shooting in Chicago last night. There were 2 others in the Lawndale neighborhood where 10 people were shot and 1 14-year-old died. Reporting live in Lincoln Park, I'm Joni Lum. Now back to you.
All right. Now let me ask you a question. You saw them police? How many black ones did you see? I asked you that. You see all of those police all over these mass shootings. You can't find 2 black ones nowhere to be seen. The only time you see black ones is when they have the superintendent or some type of news press conference. But when you see who working in the community, that's part of your problem. You don't see no one on the scene. You can't even find them scattered. Come on, y'all. Come on, Negro colony. Stop being blind. Stop being stupid. But let me go back to what I was saying. Leave it right there, though, Amari, because they don't need to see me when I say this. What I was saying about that thing on the 6th. Consequences. Now, they done arrested 500 and some folk, most of the white folk. They looking for 300 and some more. That's a pretty good thing. But do you think if those many black folk had been involved in that type of treason, they be getting the type of consequence they getting? I just want you to think. But they are giving out consequences. You see? So it's all connected. The word is consequence. They ain't letting them white folks get away because they know it looks too bad, but they giving them a consequence. But in our community, they let you kill folk multiple times and don't give you no consequence but an electronic monitor on your ankle and send you back to kill some more folk. See the difference? Now, stop the violence, gun buyback. Now, this is an article by one of the journalists, and I said it before and I say it again. They done that before. They've been buying guns back, taking guns back. They even somehow the preachers got hold of some money. People been taking guns to churches. Yeah. But now, that $1 million snitch fund that's being set up, I don't know what to tell you. It ain't no different. The same philosophy, the same thing, ain't changed nothing. Now there's a piece up there from St. Sabina where they having something, a gun buyback. Maybe you can find that one, Amari, dealing with St. Sabina there. And then I want to come back to that thing about them 8 people wounded on that party bus. But right now, I just want to deal with this issue. Now, yeah, talk about this issue. Now, I don't know, it seems like until this system gets caught up with itself, one of the things, you know...
St. Sabina is hoping to get guns off the street by having them brought to the church. Starting next week, that Southside Parish will launch a gun buyback program. It will pay people to anonymously turn in working guns. They'll give $200 for handguns and assault rifles, $100 for rifles, and $20 for high-capacity magazines and clips. The church says that money for the buyback was donated by a businessman who wants to help take guns off the streets. This is only for people 25 years and younger.
When the young person brings the gun in, they will not just get $100 for cash. They will also have a conversation with one of our staff from our Strong Futures program, so that somehow we possibly can help them find out how we can serve them, what we can do for them, how we can give them a job, how we can get them some mentoring.
The gun buyback will be offered Monday through Friday at St. Sabina, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Now I say, there ain't nothing new about that, and I ain't gonna speak on that, but I'm gonna speak on something related to that. And that is, that's controlled environment.
We are not.
So now everybody, not only with St. Sabina, but with the $1 Million Snitch Fund, people, you're going to be tracked. You're going to go in, you're going to be tracked. But we've been telling you for years, one of the ways you deal with this is through controlled environments. And we've done that. We've done that through CAPS, the City of Chicago, Alternative Policing Strategy. We've done that. Where we've gone to work release centers, where we have met with participants in halfway houses. Yeah, we've done all of that and sit down in controlled environments and dealt with issues and things got better. Yeah, it's been done like that. But with St. Sabina, it's a good thing. They're going to pay you and then they're going to talk to you. That's a controlled environment. We got your attention. So now we can talk to you. So everything is connected. So, you know, there need to be a different type of approach here. You feel me? Now, party bus. You know, last year we had some situations with them party buses. And now the city council, some of the aldermen want to once again talk about tightening up on something as relates to the party bus. Somebody drive by and shoot up a lot of people on the bus. I mean, why do you need to be driving down the street having a party on the street in the first place? I mean, how stupid is that? I mean, really? You got people in a sitting duck situation. So why don't you have the strength, city council, to just say, no, there will be no party buses. What is the point? If you want to go to a party, you need to go where they have parties. Not on a damn bus that's driving down the street and get other innocent people killed. Come on now. I got to sit here and I got to say all of this common sense stuff because you elected officials just want to sit there and be a big shot. Move around. All right, Brother Amari, let's move on so we can get out of here. Look at this Aurora piece.
This was a traffic stop gone wrong with 3 suspects accused of attempting to murder an Aurora police officer.
He's on the ground. We got 2 of us running up to help him.
New today, Aurora police sharing this edited dash camera video, allegedly showing an officer under attack after trying to pull over this car on June 21st. The driver allegedly rolling through a stop sign on the video before pulling over.
Why you following me, bro? I did nothing wrong.
Can I get your driver's license and insurance, please?
Off camera, police say a passenger gets out.
Get back in the vehicle. You're going to be arrested for obstruction, ma'am.
The officer tries to arrest the passenger and the driver, who police say fled. Police say as the officer gave chase, 2 passengers followed him, striking the officer before the driver joined in. The suspected driver named as 28-year-old Paul Sherrod Taylor of DeKalb. His alleged passengers, 24-year-old Jennifer Taylor and 26-year-old Sheba Taylor, both of Chicago.
Sheba Taylor taking her arm and strangling the officer to the point where he was unable to breathe.
Paul Sherrod Taylor also allegedly calling 911, threatening the officer.
The officers are terrorizing me and my family.
The Kane County State's attorney says all 3 have been indicted by a grand jury. The trio facing multiple felony charges, including attempted first-degree murder.
Their acts of emboldened defiance will be met with harsh consequences. Thank you.
The video does not clearly show strangulation, but police say the officer's testimony as well as photographic evidence of his injuries will back up those allegations.
Nah, they ain't saying nothing about them three having no gun. So what you gonna do about them? Huh? They ain't had no gun. But it was violence. Stupidity. Because you allowed them, because they ain't had the consequence. You heard that white woman say out there in our world, we're going to have some stiff consequence. And they are. Those three there going to be locked up for a long, long time. And that's what they need to do to these in Chicago. Stop focusing on guns and start focusing up on the attitude and the behavior that don't make no sense, gun or not. Consequence.
It starts firing, fighting back on Melrose here in
Go on to the next one here, man.
the very heart of the Fairfax district. And when bullets started to fly last Monday in a parking lot, one of the shopkeepers is nearly hit, nearly caught right in the crossfire. Listen to his scary story.
We would have been in that parking lot, but I had to get something out of my office, and we just missed it, because definitely we would have gotten hit in the crossfire.
Dominic talking about the latest violence to strike Melrose Ave. This time, it's a shootout in broad daylight. Two would-be armed robbers get out of this Dodge Avenger, targeting the shoppers who are standing in a parking lot. But one of the shoppers pulls out a gun of his own and starts firing, fighting back. Bullets fly. The Dodge takes off, and the two robbers run away. This new security video shows them running, no, limping away. Both shot in their legs, leaving a trail of blood, and both later arrested.
There's been a lot of gun violence on Melrose in the last year, but
that one was close. Too close.
Way close for comfort. And it got me a little... I'm from Brooklyn, so I'm not really scared.
But a gunfight on Melrose is downright scary. It's the latest violence to strike here in the Fairfax district, long known for its hipster luxury shops, most now doing cash-only business. And locals say that's a tempting target for all the crooks who have now made Melrose Ave known for this violent crime. This video from last January, a shopper knocked to the ground, beaten in an attack over his Rolex watch. It's a crime wave that's nothing new here, but now growing more threatening, bringing non-stop neighborhood watch alerts.
My phone goes off. Person assaulted, person robbed at gunpoint. And I'm just like, damn. It's like, but what are you going to do?
LAPD vowing to do something about it, promising increased patrols, telling neighborhood groups it is, quote, aggressively addressing a rise in violent crime in the Melrose area over the past year and is pursuing all leads involved in this and other crimes. For now, these videos of the attacks and the shootouts have all gone viral, and businesses like Brooklyn Projects are feeling the fallout. Longtime customers, they say, now just too scared to come in and shop on Melrose.
People do online orders. I know their names. I know the customers for being here for 20-something years. They live in Sherman Oaks or in Toluca Lake. They don't want to come here. They'll just ship it because they're afraid to come here. So
how sad is that?
It's disgusting.
Disgusting, he says, now alive. As for those two armed robbers, the ones you saw limping away, both under arrest. LAPD identifying them as two men in their 20s, both out on parole. They're not out tonight, locked up, facing charges of attempted armed robbery, while a lot of the shopkeepers wonder what violent crime will strike next. For now, we're live here in the Fairfax district. Ed Lascos, back to both of you.
See the difference in his terminology? You see his posture? You see the way he presented that? Them white folks in other places, like in the world, they finna stop it. White folks ain't gonna have it. That dude shot them two savages. Good. That reporter wasn't showing no empathy. He said limping, and he was right. They were supposed to get shot. You gonna rob somebody? Good. Dude shot him. Should've bled him out. White folks gonna start killing y'all like they killed your ancestors. But now they'll be justified in killing your savage behind because you putting yourself in that situation and you putting everybody else in those type of situations. You need consequences. And senior citizens all over the nation should be issued a free automatic weapon, or at least a 6-shooter, to defend themselves without a permit. So anytime one of y'all come up on us, we can kill you without any charges. Go to the next one, man. All right, while this one here getting, you see the head, no, you don't see nothing but me. While this one is getting set up, this is going to be a little different because we're coming off of this violence piece and we want to get off into something else.
Michigan about to award our $1 million winner on the My Shot to Win sweepstakes. So she should be just home from work. So let's go see if she's here. Latunda! Congratulations! Woo! We're so happy! A little bit of everything. Congratulations! Thank you! You are a $1 million winner for the My Shot to Win sweepstakes. So thank you for getting vaccinated and congratulations.
Thank you.
Woohoo!
Thank you. Oh my gosh, this is awesome.
Big question. Now that you have won this money, this cash prize for getting vaccinated, what's the plan?
Oh, the plan. Okay. Well, first of all, after taxes are taken and all of that, right? You got to do your tax obligation. First thing I must say is, I am a believer, a woman of faith. So I definitely will be giving back my tithes and my offerings. That will be first.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yep, that's number one. And then be paying for some college tuition, paying off some loans for my daughter who's in dental school. And
wonderful.
Yeah, that's really about it.
Excellent. Yay! And now my last question. Now, have you encouraged all your family and friends to get vaccinated?
They call me the true advocate because, in my opinion, it is the ultimate act of unselfishness to be able to do and get the COVID vaccine. So my mom and dad are already vaccinated. My husband and I, my whole family, we're already vaccinated. And every time I talk to someone, I'm always encouraging them to get vaccinated because, I mean, what is it going to hurt?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I like that. I like her energy. Woo! $1 million. And she, God done already blessed them. And she gonna bless that preacher, that church. She gonna tithe. Boy, Negroes or something else, ain't they? She got that money. She gonna take care of some pragmatic things.
Hyundai Kona
But that's,
versus Honda
that wasn't
HRV.
here. But they doing it all over the place. COVID been real good to a lot of people, man. A lot of folks died. But now they winning millions for getting the shot. To be encouraged to get the shot. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Millionaire took the shot.
Model Lena Bloom makes history as the first transgender woman to grace the cover of Sports Illustrated's annual swimsuit issue.
The American actor and model, who is Black and Filipino, took to Instagram to thank the publication for recognizing the importance of representation, saying, "I am so happy, honored, and humbled to share that I'm the first trans woman to grace the cover of Sports Illustrated. This movement heals a lot of pain in the world. We deserve this moment. We have waited millions of years to show up as survivors and be seen as full humans filled with wonder."
Man, I hope you read that. Now, she sound like an alien. She sound like she's from some other dimension. We deserve it. We have waited for millions of years. Woo! To come here and take our place as humans. Now, that's a profound statement. And I salute her. Of all of the female born, here she is, born male, made female. But she is the best woman. I guess the prettiest one, the most sensuous one. And he ends up on Sports Illustrated. Just happened to be dark-skinned one. And she was pretty. I mean, she felt like a woman, looked like a woman. You know what I'm saying? Know how to be a woman better than those born female. We talked about it last week. Where Miss Nevada. You know what I'm saying? But the whole state, The best female they could find to represent the state was born a male. Prettier, more sensuous, knew how to be a woman better than all of the other females. So when Miss America, Miss Universe, become part of that group that have waited for millions of years, born male, transformed into transgender female, don't y'all get mad. Just know their time has come. They have waited for millions of years. And you're lying behind, telling people they going to hell for wearing a dress, for wearing pants to church, for wearing lipstick, wearing fingernail polish. Now look at what you have done. Turn your world over to those that are not naturally, but who are now normal in all of the positions that you held so high. Now you got people that have made themselves what they want to be. Be that. And you done lied to all of these generations about what God said, what the commandments said. Go on to the next one, man. They get it.
Our commitment is to not just talk about the last 60 years and beyond of the UK-Ghana history, but to look well into the future and to say that actually it's our common interests, it's our common values that bind us. Areas around infrastructure, around investments in areas around social housing, in areas around energy, and with your team and with other people such as the Mayor and the Regional Minister, we're looking to continue those conversations so we can turn some of the good ideas into practice. And I think we can see here in Kumasi a very clear vision for the future of Kumasi, and I want to make sure that we work hand in glove with you and your people in Kumasi and the Ashanti to grow that so that we turn words into action.
So now we need to approach it in a more mutually beneficial partnership where, you know, the president says Ghana beyond aid. We also want to get out of aid and then be able to run our economy properly. The only way we can do that is to partner people who are prepared to accept us and then mutually beneficial help us all to do it together. We want the industries here so that we can produce and add value here to create employment for our people also. Then export to also earn money, which will be beneficial to both investors. So if we have a bauxite and we want to do it, we are not going to give the concession to someone to take it away. We would own the concession and we partner with you. Investor has money, we also, who had the resources, also have money.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you that. See, don't get it twisted. See, those Akan kings, Ashanti over there in Ghana, that's a tribal thing. They sitting down there with them white folk, letting white folks know, you might have on your suit, you might be this, you might be that, but look at who we are. This is how we do this here. They doing it like that now. So a lot of us over here, you know, you over here and you want to think everything is a joke about Negroes and where you come from. No, that's right now. As I'm speaking, there are African paramount chiefs, and they are kings. And white folks have to meet with them and treat them like they are big shot people because they have political order, they have spiritual order, they have cultural order, they have traditional order. What do the Negro have? Slave order. Insane order. We're going to end it today with this young girl again, the one the spelling bee. But I want you to look at the type of environment and how they celebrate. It looked like an Africa thing to me. We salute the ancestors and this girl. Go on, man. Look at her. Yeah, I wanted to show you that too. I told y'all, they calling her African American. I ain't quite sure she's no regular Negro from slave descendancy. I don't know about all that. Them people there, they married down there in Louisiana. Those people there got something going on other than being a damn slave, just a regular American Negro. No. That was done correctly. You see? Yeah, that community there, they might be African American, but they real African. Trying to be American, but being a Negro. Feel me? There's more to this than just, she's just another Negro girl. No. Them people had enough sense to do something real. If there's Negroes in America, Louisiana, wherever, that's from slavery, that's doing what those people doing, that's straight up Negro, slave bred, then the rest of y'all, the rest of us need to be moving to their town. Because you see how they produced their girl, and we see how they celebrated their girl. So until next time, Alafia, peace, and good health.